Hello, I am in England. Finally. After all that trouble. So in the last podcast episode, I said, I think I'm going to sleep well tonight. I said I was thinking about getting up at 6 a.m. and just rushing straight out of the hotel and catching my early train. That didn't happen. I didn't sleep well at all. I kept waking up. It felt like I was waking up like every hour and then just sort of realizing, I'm in the hotel room. Let's get back to sleep. My alarm hasn't gone off yet. So in the end, I got up at 5 o'clock, looked out of my window, and the typhoon was gone. All the clouds had gone. The wind had gone. The rain had gone. It was just like, there were a few clouds in the sky, but the sun, you could see the sun. And it looked like, it was promising to be a really nice day. A really nice, very hot day, as it was Japan. But, like a completely different change in weather. So, I just went straight out, basically. I don't think I even had a drink or anything. I was just worried about, something else happening, like a problem with the trains, because I knew the trains had stopped. Some of the train lines had stopped the day before because of the typhoon, so I thought, are they going to be back to normal service or not? So I thought, you know what, I'm up. Let's just carry on with the journey, carry on with the day. So I went straight out really early, checked out, which was really simple. It was like a self-checkout sort of machine. Got to the train station. And actually, I was checking my phone before this, and my phone was like, if you want to get this train, leave at this time. I got to the train station and then realized I was way too early, and the first train wouldn't arrive for, I think it was just over half an hour. So I was really wishing I had spent more time in the hotel. I could have relaxed a bit more, had a drink and stuff like that. But it was the navigation thing I was using. It was telling me that it was a very, very long walk to the train station. It really wasn't. It thought I had to go this like crazy way to get there, and it was actually just about like 5 minutes, 2 minutes or something like that, really quick. So that messed everything up. But I did buy a few things, drink and so on from. Did I get it from the convenience store? I don't know. I can't remember. It was a convenience store or it was, no, I didn't. It was closed. Yeah, that's how early I was. The convenience store was closed. So I just had to buy some drink from the vending machine, and they were all cold. I wanted something hot in the morning, but no such luck. So we waited for this train, and this train came in at like 5 minutes before the train I wanted to catch was due to leave the station. So I thought, 5 minutes before, it's probably the right train, isn't it? But at the same time, I was expecting a bit of a different design. Like this just looked like a standard train, and the other one, I don't know, it looked a bit more like a rapid train. So I thought, it's on the right lines, it's going in the right direction, it's 5 minutes before the train should be leaving. I can't imagine they're going to like a train's going to leave and another one's going to leave in just 5 minutes. So I got on. And I started hearing this this message being played in Japanese, saying like, "This is the last stop here. So this is a termination. It's going to end." I looked to my left, and I saw like some train staff like running. They just run down through all the carriages. I guess because they have a really tight schedule before the next train comes in, running down and just telling everyone to go because lots of people were still on this train. So anyway, I ran off the train and just waited. And sure enough, this train, the next train came in like really quick, and it left exactly on time. This kind of thing never happens in England. Not that precisely. That's why I got a bit confused and thought like maybe this is the actual train, and maybe they'll just change the sign. Sometimes that happens, like in England. You'll get this train coming into the station. It will have the wrong signs on it, the wrong like that digital writing they have on it sometimes, and then you'll be sitting on that train, and then they'll like update it, or they'll update it before you can get on the train, that kind of thing. Anyway, I went to the airport, no trouble at all. I knew exactly where I was going. I'm the master of Narita Airport Terminal 1 now. And everything seemed to be going to plan. No one said like, oh, sorry, we've had to delay your flight by 24 hours or anything like that. So I just carried on through security. My bags didn't get stopped for anything at all, which was great. I managed to find the place where you get your, like this, I can't actually remember what it's called. I think it's like a disembarkation or embarkation card or something like that, arrival card. I don't know what you want to call it, but the card that lets me get back into Japan, basically, where I just say like, oh, I'm just going out for a little bit of time, but I'm planning to come back into the country. So I had to go like a special way, and everyone else went this other way, and I had to fill in this form, and then I had to get it stamped by someone at a desk. It was pretty easy to find, but and there was one person there saying like, do you have a Japanese visa or something like that? And he came up to me and said, and I asked me, do I have a Japanese visa in Japanese? And I answered him. He told me where to go, but I was quite surprised. Really, it's like, how did you know? Like, why did you just pick me out? I don't know. Is there some kind of image that made him think like, that person looks like he's been living in Japan for a year and a half? I don't know. Very unusual. But yeah, that was great. That was very helpful of him. So I'm grateful to him for that. But I definitely remembered. I mean, I was tired. I was exhausted at this point. I'd had 2 nights of bad sleep. But I had still remembered, I've got to get this card before I leave the airport. So got all of that done. Very happy about that. And then I just decided to walk to the gate that I needed to go to board the aeroplane. And I got there and I was very early. I'd arrived at the airport really early because I'd woken up so early and got a really early train. So I just had to sit there for hours, basically. And at this particular gate I was at, it's like a round circle. You can walk all the way around it, and you go past one gate and another gate and another gate and another gate. So I just decided to walk round and round and round and round, just to get some exercise. I mean, I'd had lots of exercise walking yesterday, all the way around the airport. But I thought, I'm going to be getting on a flight soon, long haul flight, sitting down for hours and hours and hours. I'll get some exercise before I get on the flight. And it always surprises me, like, you see everyone sitting down, like waiting for hours for the before they can get on the flight, before they can begin boarding the flight. And I think, you're going to be sitting down for hours once you get onto the flight, and you want to stand up and you want to get a bit of exercise. Maybe that's just me. What did I buy? I bought like 3 bottles of water. Well, one was water. One was sort of like a watery energy sort of drink that's meant to help you rehydrate. And I bought, some green tea. So 3 bottles, 1.5 liters. And I took that with me onto the plane, because apparently one of the causes for you to feel jet lagged is due to lack of hydration, not drinking enough water on the plane. So I thought I'd take my own on as well, just so I get to drink even more. And I bought some hard-boiled sweets as well. So like these, hard sweets that you can suck, and they're meant to be good for when you're when the plane is descending and you've got all that pressure in your ears. If you suck a sweet, it's supposed to help. It seemed to. I don't know. I didn't really have much trouble with any pain in my ears. But anyway, the flight was pretty uneventful, which is just how you want it, really. Nothing happened. I was seated right at the back of the airport. Really, the airport? Sorry, the aeroplane. I was seated right at the back of the aeroplane. As far on the very last row, in the middle of the seat, in the middle of 3 seats, which is probably one of the worst places. No, it's not. The worst places you could sit, I think, is a window seat. if you're with like other people that you don't know. Because every time you want to get up and go to the toilet, you have to ask two other people to stand up for you. If you're stuck between two people on like the middle row, then maybe one person's going to get up to go to the toilet, or the other person's going to get up, and you can just get out when they get out. So it's less bother. You don't have to bother so many people. But my favorite seat is like an aisle seat, because I can just get up as many times as I want. I can just get up, go for a stretch, or do anything. I like to get up a lot when I'm on a plane, even if I'm not going to the toilet. I like to get up, go for a walk, go for a bit of a stretch. I think it's important to keep doing that to avoid getting things like DVT, deep vein thrombosis, which is not a very nice thing to get. But anyway, like I said, very uneventful. I remember watching 2 films. This is the weird thing, right? So I've been living in Japan for a year and a half now, and there have been many, many times when I've felt like, I just want to go back to England now. Like something stressful happens, and it's like, yeah, okay, I've had enough of Japan. I just want to go back to England. Let's get back to the country I'm used to, or the way of doing things that I'm used to. So when I was looking for films to watch on this plane, the 2 films I ended up watching were Japanese. What's all that about? I've only just managed to escape from Japan for like I don't know, a few hours, and already I'm like, it looks like I'm interested in Japan again. Like I want to watch some Japanese films. I don't know why, but all the other films didn't really catch my eye. I didn't look at them and think, oh, I want to watch that. I don't know why. I think there's some like Marvel films on there, but I'm so far behind all of the different films that they seem to release that I've got no clue like what's going on anymore, and I can't be bothered to try and catch up. And sometimes I can feel a bit tired of the same like formula being repeated over and over again. So I guess I wanted something different. I watched I don't know what it's called in English. Is it something like The Little Girl by the Window or something like that? Toto-chan. I don't know what it's called. That's quite a famous story that I had not read before. I'd been meaning to read it, the book, but I hadn't got around to doing it yet. So I was happy to see there was like a film version of it. And yeah, it was quite a good story. And I watched this other film, which I very much doubt will ever have an English title, because it's not the kind of film that really gets released outside of Japan, at least not in the UK. And it was all about sort of like hot springs and bathing culture in Japan. But it wasn't a documentary. It was like it was a comedy film. And yeah, it was pretty good. I actually recommended it to my wife, and she managed to find it on, what's it called? Amazon Prime. It's on there. And she has since watched it, and she also thought it was really good. So what was that called? It was called Yudo, which is like the way of hot water, or the way of bathing. I don't know how you want to translate that. So yeah, I watched those 2 films. I took my Steam Deck with me, which is sort of like a Nintendo Switch portable gaming machine, and spent a bit of time playing this racing game on there. And to be honest, it was a pretty good flight. It went by pretty quickly. The combination of like playing a game, watching a film, playing a game, watching a film, and then you throw in, like eating some meals in between. It went for a 13-hour flight. It went by quite quickly. But I remember thinking at the end of it, as we were descending, as we were about to arrive in Amsterdam, I think the lady sitting next to me was French, and there was a man sitting next to me, and he came from Amsterdam, or came from Amsterdam. I mean, he came from the Netherlands. I'm pretty sure he did anyway. He was speaking in a language I didn't recognize to all of the host staff, to all of the cabin attendants on the flight. So yeah, I'm guessing he must have been speaking Dutch. Anyway, the point is, I was sitting next to him, and I was thinking, you are so lucky. You've after this 13-hour flight, you get to arrive at your destination, and now you just need to find your way home. And I was thinking, I have to wait in the airport in Amsterdam for 4 hours before I can get my connecting flight to Birmingham Airport. And this is because the flight was initially delayed by 24 hours, and then it was brought forwards by 2 hours. So I had an extra 2 hours of time to spend in Amsterdam Airport. Anyway, let's leave it there for now, and I will pick up this again in the next episode. Until then, bye-bye.